Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Wow.
Houston, this is Station. We are ready for the event.
State of Maine, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Bill Buckley representing all of Maine. How do you hear me?
Hello, Bill and all of Maine. We are so excited to be phoning home today. We hear you loud and clear. How about us?
Excellent. Hello from the great state of Maine. Today, on behalf of the Challenge Learning Center of Maine and the Maine Space Grant Consortium, we are excited to talk with two Mainers in space. Challenger starts our missions telling Maine students about your inspiring careers. Chris and Jessica, we have students from across the state ready to hear your responses to their questions. Here is Senator Susan Collins with our first question.
Hi, I'm Senator Susan Collins from the great state of Maine. I have a question from Violet, a student from Casco, Maine, for our two amazing astronauts, Captain Chris Cassidy from York and Dr. Jessica Meir from my hometown of Caribou. Here's Violet's question. Do you ever get homesick after you've been in space for a while?
We get asked that quite frequently, and for me anyway, the answer is no. I haven't missed anything at home, and I think that's especially because this is my first space flight, and there is so much amazing activity and events going on all the time. We have this extraordinary view out of the window looking down at the planet, and always, every day, there's something new and exciting. So for me, it's this entirely new environment with so much going on that I find myself not missing any of those other creature comforts from home. Of course, it'll be nice to see friends and family again, and maybe I'll remember that it is nice to do some of those things again. It'll be nice to smell the fresh air, to be outside, to be in the trees, to see some snow and go skiing. But interestingly, I haven't really missed those things too much in this new environment.
Hello, my name is Grayson, and my question is, what do you do with your dirty laundry on the space station? I would really like to know. Thanks.
That's a fun question because the answer, you might gross you out. We have no way to do laundry, and therefore we just wear the items until we can't stand it any longer, and then we throw them away. In all seriousness, there's a certain usage rate. I won't tell you what it is for socks and underwear, but we use it for those many days, and then we just throw it away in the trash.
I'm Amelia from Brooklyn, Maine, and my question for you is what has been the most interesting thing to try and get used to while being on the International Space Station?
I think the most interesting thing was especially in the beginning when you arrive and your brain has to start interpreting using all of this three-dimensional space, the entire volume, instead of more the kind of two-dimensional area that we use when we're on the ground. When you're on the ground on Earth, you're really on the floor like this, always in one orientation. But up here, we might be in this orientation, or we might be up here working on the ceiling, working on the walls, working on all sides. So especially in the beginning, that's a bit difficult for your brain to interpret and to understand, and it feels a little bit overloaded, and it's a little bit hard to navigate around and figure out your spatial awareness. But the very interesting part is that your brain adapts so quickly. It really shows you the plasticity of the human brain, how it can adapt to a new environment. And now I seem to have somehow overcome that, and I don't really have that confusion anymore. But it's a really interesting difference from working on the ground.
Hi, my name is Trevor. I go to Jefferson Village School, and the question that I wanted to ask you was, do constellations look different in space?
Trevor, that's a wonderful question. I find it actually difficult to see the stars on the space station. We're always looking down at Earth. That's the most interesting thing to look out the window. But the way the light is and the way the windows are oriented, it's somewhat challenging to get a good view of a star. Occasionally you can. But if you think about it, we are 250 miles above the surface of the Earth, and the distance to stars is way, way more than that. So our little bit of difference closer to the stars doesn't change the relative orientation or the way they appear in the sky if we could see them in their entirety. Great question, Trevor.
Hi, Chris. This is Allie Brown, one of the flight directors at the Challenger Learning Center in Bangor, Maine. Sadie from Warren Community School would like to know, what is your favorite task while working on the space station?
Well, Sadie, that is a very difficult question for me because there are so many things that I love up here. But I think my two favorite things, first of all, working on the scientific experiments for me as a scientist in my previous life is very fulfilling. It's really interesting to be on this side of it and to be collecting data on experiments ranging from physiology and medicine to combustion science, protein crystal growth, material science, you name it, we're doing it. My other favorite thing has been doing spacewalks, and I was quite lucky that I got to do 3 spacewalks during my mission, and going outside in the hatch in a spacesuit, as Chris knows too, it's the best part of our job. That view that we have and the fact that you're out there all on your own, just contained in your own little mini spaceship almost, looking back at the Earth and the vacuum of space through only your visor, it is just an extraordinary feeling.
Hi, my name is Corbin. I'm from Bristol, Maine. I got a question for the International Space Station. How do you guys sleep at night without the effects of gravity?
That's interesting because it's very relaxing when you go to sleep. You sleep very well. What I find a bit different when I arrive in space is that there's no instant trigger to your senses or your brain to tell you it's time to go to sleep. When you're at home, you walk to your bed, you lie down, and you maybe have your pajamas on or whatever, and there's now sensation of the pillow on your head, and your whole body is connected with the mattress. And I think that there's some sort of impulse to your brain that says, okay, it's time to relax. I find sometimes it's challenging in zero gravity to immediately relax. Therefore, we float into our sleeping bag, we zip the sleeping bag up, we're floating inside the sleeping bag, and your arms are kind of moving around like this. And so it just takes a little while to settle down at night, I think, and just truly relax. And once you get used to no pillow on your head, you have some amazing nights of sleep.
Hi, I'm Wynn from Bucksport, Maine, and my question is, did growing up in Maine and the experiences you had in Maine help with your training or in space?
Absolutely. I think all of the experiences that I had as a child growing up, I spent all of the years of my life from my birth until the time I was 18 years old and went to college living in Caribou, Maine. And I think growing up there really helped me foster these dreams. The mentors I had, the teachers I had that encouraged me, having access to nature and encouraging that kind of exploration, everything that I experienced helped prepare me for this and to bring me here. And especially, those are really the formative years of your life. So obviously that had something to do with the trajectory. So I would take this opportunity to also say thank you to everybody there, to my family, my friends, to all of my teachers, because this journey is really for everybody. It's not just for me. I hope that I've been able to share it with all of you down there that helped make it happen.
Hi, Chris. It's Mom. Alyssa from the Scarborough Middle School wants to know, what is your daily routine on the ISS?
Hi, Mom. Should I tell them the truth? It's whatever you email me and tell me to do my daily chores. No, we have a different mom here on the International Space Station, and it's the flight control team in Houston. And it's those folks and the team of people that decide the priority of things that we were going to do each week and therefore each day. So it's not up to us what we decide to do on a given day. That whole thing is planned out very meticulously by a team of these specialists. In general, we keep a Monday through Friday work week, with Saturday being kind of a housekeeping day. We clean up, tidy up, vacuum, and wipe off in our food area. And Sunday is usually, if all goes well, relatively unscheduled. We have family conferences, video conferences with our family on Sundays, and it's a day to kind of recharge your batteries. Monday through Friday, it's all systems go, and we're talking to the ground at about 7:30 in the morning, and we wrap up by a quick talk with the ground at 7:30 at night. During the day, we do our work, we exercise, we eat, and that just fills up the whole work period. So it's a very busy work week, and we really enjoy Sundays with the downtime.
Hi Jessica, this is Mom. And Henry at Scarborough Middle School, he wants to know what you miss the most from Earth when you're at the space station. Thank you.
Oh, well, hi, Mom. So this is where I say I miss my mom the most, I guess. But as I said in an earlier question, I haven't actually found myself missing too much just because of how amazing all of the experiences are up here. But I think if I had to pick one thing, aside from my family and friends, of course, it would be nature. Just having that breath, that fresh air, a breeze blowing across your face, being out in the trees, and the smells of nature. We don't really have any of those smells here. We live in this very sterile environment. So hiking in the forest or skiing in the winter, those are things that I love to do, and I'm very much looking forward to doing those things again as well. It's interesting, we look down from here and we have the most beautiful view of the entire planet. We can see all of those ecosystems and all of that nature, but we can't actually experience any of it.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm from Scarborough, Maine. My question is it stressful in space? And what is your favorite part of being there?
Hi, Ella. It's on a day-to-day basis, we don't really feel too much stress. We sometimes have to hurry with our work to complete it all in a given day, and at times that can feel semi-stressful, that if you don't get your job done today, it will impact what the plan is for tomorrow in this cascading thing. So this is somewhat of in the back of our minds, but I wouldn't call it stressful. It's not like we're worrying about what can go wrong all the time. We are very well trained for any problems, contingencies, emergencies. So I think all of us feel like we have a good handle on what we would do immediately if there is something that we need to tend to. My favorite part about being up here, I have to agree with Jessica, it would be spacewalks. That's a really, really fun thing to do. You put on the spacesuit, it's like a spaceship for one person, and you go outside and you do some really hard work, but it's very rewarding because you are the eyes and the hands of a whole team of people that are relying on you to get the work done. In addition to spacewalks, since we don't do those very often, it's just floating and looking out the window. I like right before I go to bed to be brushing my teeth and looking out the window at Earth go by, and it really gives me appreciation for how lucky I am to be at this place right now.
Hi guys, this is United States Senator Angus King, and I've got a question for you from Lindsay from Bucksport Middle School. Is being in space different than you expected, or pretty much the same? And I have another one for you just from myself. What is the only U.S. state that only touches one other state? Have fun up there. You're picking a pretty good time to be in space, and just know that we're all with you.
Thank you very much, Senator King. It's always nice to hear from you. I'll take that second question first. I think we all know the answer. It's the great state of Maine, right? And for the other question, is space different or the same as I expected? A lot of the things are actually quite similar to what I expected, and I think that's mostly because of our incredible training. We have hundreds and thousands of people on the ground supporting us, preparing us for this mission, so a lot of it feels very familiar. Even going out for a spacewalk, we're using this suit, which we have so much muscle memory. We're ready to do all of these things. But I think one of the things that you just can't prepare for is this whole aspect of floating. And like I mentioned earlier, this aspect of working in this whole volumetric space instead of just a two-dimensional one, that is something that no amount of preparation can really prepare you for until you experience it yourself.
At what period in your life did you decide that you wanted to be an astronaut?
Well, for me, I was a little bit older. I was maybe 25 or 26 years old doing my job in the Navy, and that's when I met a few people, and they motivated me to try, and I realized, well, my education and experience is similar to his, and I did some research and found out where the website was and all these kind of things. So I was older than you in my early part of my professional career in the Navy, but I think if you ask a lot of astronauts, it's usually pretty younger, a lot younger in life when they were motivated. I think that was the case for you, right?
Hi, my name is Sophie, and I'm from Bristol Consolidated School. My question is, I heard you're growing lettuce on the ISS. How do the roots know which way is down? Or does it matter?
Hi, Jessica.
That's my Nana. She's a big fan of yours, Jessica Meir.
Thanks so much for that question. That's a great one for a biologist like me, and I love taking care of the plants up here. We've been lucky enough to have 2 different sets of plants. During my mission in the beginning, we had Mizuna lettuce, so it's kind of a mustardy type green. And we took care of it, we watered it, we watched it grow, and then we harvested it. We had to send half the samples back to the ground, but then we got to eat the other half. So that was so great to have fresh salad up here. Just recently, we planted some romaine lettuce, and this is another experiment which eventually will be able to harvest as well. It uses a different system for growing the crops. Now, the answer to your question is it doesn't actually matter for the roots which way is up and which way is down. The plants grow toward the light just like they do on Earth, and we have a special watering system in the growth system for the plants to prevent the water from covering the surface of the roots. That's one of the problems about gravity, is that instead of just sinking down to the bottom where the roots can take it up, the water can sometimes coat and actually drown the roots themselves. But that isn't a problem given the special systems that we have to deliver water, and then the plants just grow toward the source of the light, so it doesn't really matter for the roots that there's no up or down.
Hi, my name is Maggie Beth, and I'm a sophomore at the University of Maine. Considering how we're going back to the moon in 2024 with the possibility of colonizing both the moon and Mars in the foreseeable future, how do you think long-term microgravity will have effects on human physiology? And if you could demonstrate one example of how microgravity affects your everyday life.
Well, the nice thing about maintaining and operating the International Space Station for just about 20 years, in fact, the end of this year we'll celebrate the completion of 20 years of manned operations on the space station. The nice thing about all this experience is it's taught us a lot about what we need to do to keep astronauts healthy and functioning in zero gravity, microgravity for long periods of time. And the most important thing is weighted exercise. Of course, there's radiation we need to be protected from, and we don't get a whole lot of sunlight, so maybe we have to have some additional vitamin D and this kind of thing. But to keep our bones healthy, we really need to do weightlifting type exercise, and that is something we do every single day here on the International Space Station. And to go for long missions like going to Mars, like you might do, that is essential to have good exercise equipment. And we are at Johnson Space Center, and with collaboration around with other locations, we're developing those exact exercise tools and equipment right now that you'll experience.
On behalf of the Maine Space Grant Consortium, the Challenger Learning Center, and the citizens of the great state of Maine, we want to thank you, Dr. Meir and Captain Cassidy, for allowing us to participate in this historic event.
Thanks very much, Sharon. It's great to be with all of you, and what an honor to have our 2 Maine senators with us. We're excited to join you, and thanks for following along with our mission and with NASA. We appreciate it. Take care. Happy Easter.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes our event as we count down to 20 continuous years of humans living and working on the International Space Station.
Thank you to all participants from the state of Maine. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.